Hey everybody, welcome back. So it is December 31st when I'm filming this video, New Year's Eve day, and today I would really like to get the wiring from this old alarm system on the car sorted out because I do not want the alarm there, and the wiring for both crank and 12 volts to the coil was obviously run through it because now it will not crank with the key and I have no 12 volts at the coil. I thought I had fixed most of that, but apparently something under the dash I must have missed. So I've got to get it under the dash. Now, how big of a deal this is going to be, I am hoping when I poke my head, poke my giant head on a neck that has the mobility of a fire hydrant, but when I manage to get a look under there, I hope I'm going to see it. And if not, I'm going to pull this. I've got the inspection camera too. I can look up under there with. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to see it without too big of a fight and fix it. If not, I think I'm going to pull the seats out. Now, this driver's seat has something broken in it, and it has to come out anyway to be fixed. But getting the seats out of it would at least let me lay in there and look up better. So that might have to happen. But first, I'm going to get the inspection camera up in there and see what I can see. Gonna have to get some light in there as well. And speaking of light, one thing I've got to do out here is my light up there is completely covered by the door when it's open, which you wouldn't think would normally be a big deal because the door lets a lot of light in, but it really doesn't light up under the hood very well. So I've got to come up with some magnetic strip light or something to hook up on the hood and give me some light under the hood, but that's probably as simple as a trip down to Harbor Freight, which there is now one only about 2 or 3 miles from me. That is not something I particularly like. That's going to have to be done, and I'm going to have to do it. This wiring is going to be the last job I do, I think, before I have to commit a major clean and reorganization. Not just out here. Out here isn't that bad, although I do have some things to do. But my garage workshop is a complete and total disaster. And I'm going to have to spend an entire day, maybe 2 days, between this and that garage workshop, just trying to get things straightened up. Anyway, let me get some light under that dash and let me get the inspection camera under there and let me see what I can see inside. So as I may have mentioned in my previous video about this alarm system had these 2 fuse adapters. And of course this vehicle has glass fuses in it. And one of these went into an adapter that was plugged into cigarette lighter on the fuse box, which I have found and removed, but I never figured out where the other one went to. Well, now I have. Let me show you. Took me some tracing back to find it. I had to trace the wires back where they go through the firewall, then back behind the dash, and I actually didn't find it until I pulled the cigarette lighter out, and there it is there. This is on the red and yellow wire, or yellow or red and green, I can't tell which, or it's both, one of the two, but that didn't happen. All right, so that's going to crank all the time. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that's going to crank every time I put the fuse in. I thought this was coming from the coil. I thought this was the wire going to the coil, but it's obviously not. It's the one running to the solenoid. So that means I have the solenoid connected wrong. Let me fix that. All right, with my key turned on, ground, and on the coil wire, I now have my 12 volts at the coil. 12 volts at the coil. Should I have 12 volts at the coil, or should I have more like 9? Interesting. Because there should be a resistor wire in there. I should not be getting full 12 volts at the coil. All right, the reason I had power to the coil and it was cranking is because I had these 2 wires reversed. I should not be getting 12 volts to the coil. I should be getting a lower voltage once I got this connected back properly with the red wire here and the brown wire here. So apparently that fuse holder that got added in is a bit wonky. And I got that squared away, I think. I tested both sides of the fuse. With the key on, I have 12 volts to both sides of the fuse. Let's check the coil again. Before I check the coil again, let's check to see what battery voltage is, because I should not be getting full battery voltage at the coil through that wire. I should only be getting full battery voltage at the coil on crank. So let me test this. So my current battery voltage is 12.46. Let's see what we're getting at the coil. I'm going to have to move that a bit, I think. How about there? That looks good. Let's see what we're getting at the coil. Getting 6 volts at the coil. I think it was wasn't it supposed to be like 8 or 9? But nonetheless, that should be enough to fire it and make it run. May have to look into that further. I'm going to have to see what that voltage should actually be. I thought it was supposed to be about 9, but I don't have 9. But right now I think that's working the way it's supposed to be. So that is connected. Only problem is I still have no crank with the keys on. Now I have to track that solenoid wiring down. So I believe I have solved the problem of the not crank when the key is turned. And I believe it's the neutral safety switch here. And I'm betting that was all along. That didn't just occur because I took the alarm out, but that's got something to do probably with this lever being so wobbly, because I can go to crank it and I get nothing. But if I come down to neutral, it cranks. So that's my problem. My wiring is solved, I believe. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this here for now. It's got a 25 amp fuse in it. It will probably never ever blow that 25 amp fuse. I believe I have all the wiring buttoned back up. The remote starter is disconnected. The regular wires, solenoid wires, are connected up. I believe everything is back the way it belongs. Let's see if it'll start up with the key and run on its own without a jumper wire. And then I will be very happy, because that means that alarm is now completely disconnected and everything is back the way it should be, or as close as it was before. I just don't know what before what. So let's see what we get here. Hopefully the battery has enough juice in it to crank it and start it. Alright, I think I have a spark plug wire disconnected because it sounded like it was running on 7. I pulled the spark plug off to test the spark the other day when I was having problems, and I think I probably did not hook that one back up. Let's see, which one was it? I think it was this rear one. Nope, it's connected. Alright. Not sure why it was running like that, but I obviously got a fair amount of work to do to get this vehicle. Oh, the choke's completely shut. That might have had something to do with it. Alright, I shut that off with the key. I've still got the leaky freeze plugs. I don't want to run it for long because I don't want to puke coolant out all over my floor if I can help it. Still not running. I mean, it started running better, but it still doesn't feel like it's running anywhere near close to the way it should, or even really on all 8. So I obviously still have some work to do. I'm almost sure I have a vacuum leak. I have not found that yet, but just having that alarm out of there, I've got the wiring cleaned up. I pulled that overflow bottle out of here because it was in my way of seeing the voltage regulator wiring, and so I'm pretty happy for now. That was a big step forward to me. The next big step forward is going to be those freeze plugs. So next time you see me, that's probably what I'm going to be doing, or at least next time you see me out here, that's what I'm going to be doing. I bought myself a new creeper because I gave my old one away a few years ago because I hate creepers. This one has some pretty neat functionality. I bought this with my own money, and I'll probably be doing a review of it here in the next few weeks, and because I think it has some cool features and hopefully should be a really good creeper for me for a number of different uses. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for right now. I'm pretty pleased with that. Like I say, next time you see me out here working on this, it will be the freeze plugs. Thanks for watching.